Let's go. You know what I'm talking about. So the Gemara says like this. The bottom line in Nun Beis Amid Beis. Amar Rav. It says in the Mishnah that if you're digging in the well and the animal falls in, so if it falls in forward, you're chayiv. If it falls in backwards, you're pater. So what exactly is the meaning of forwards and backwards when it comes to falling in the well? Why would it make a difference? So why would it make a difference of what direction you fall into the well, whether it's forwards or backwards? There's not enough of you to distract me. Amar Rav, lefanov mamish, la'achar mamish. Rav says it literally means falling in forward or falling in backwards. What's the difference? The zev bar. This is both referring to the bar, meaning if the animal falls into the bar, am I chayiv? It depends what direction. If it fell in forward, Rav is l'shitasa. Rav holds the ikar chiyuv of a bar is the smoke, the foul air, not the impact. So if it falls in forward, so the animal smells it on its way down, then you could attribute the damage due to the foul air. If it falls in backwards and breaks its neck, it's b'chalal not my problem. That's clearly the ground. That's why I'm pater.
I don't understand. It's a smell?
Yeah, we've had this for like a couple dafim already. Lahavata. Zev bar and Rav l'tamei and Rav is l'shitasi tamarav bar shachayv l'v Torah l'havale v'le l'chavate. Rav holds that the ikar chiyuv of why you're punished for a bar is not for the impact, because the impact is on ground that I don't own. It's rishus harabim. The ikar chiyuv and the fact that I caused it to fall into the ground is a grama. The ikar chiyuv is the foul air, so it depends on how it falls in. Now Shmuel, if you remember, Lishitasai holds that you're chayiv for the impact for the foul air. So he'll hold it doesn't matter whether you're going forwards or backwards, because you're going to be chayiv. So what does the Mishnah mean when it says that if you fall in backwards, pater? Shmuel Amar Bibar Bein Milafana Bein Lachav Chayiv. Shmuel holds if it falls into the bar, it doesn't matter what direction it falls in. It could fall in forward, it could fall in backwards. It's chayiv. And Shmuel Tamei Shmuel Shitasi Damar Lechavale V'Kol Shekin Chavate, because Shmuel holds that you're chayiv for both. Elahechi Dami La'achrav. So what does it mean in the Mishnah when it says that if you fall in backwards, you're pater? It's Mikol Akri the pater. Nitkal Bebar V'Nafal Achayri Abar Chutz Lebar. The case is you didn't fall in. The animal's walking on top, it gets startled. It doesn't even have to get startled. The truth is, Rashi says it doesn't have to be startled. That's just for the Reisha of the Mishnah. The animal's walking on top, it stumbles on the bar, but falls outside of the bar. So the case where it falls backwards, it doesn't mean it didn't fall in. It's a pit, and then it caught its foot on the lip of the pit and fell onto the ground. So that Shmuel holds his pater. Because even Shmuel who holds that the ikar chiyuv is whether it's for foul air or whether it's for impact, Shmuel would say that's only true in the pit itself. If it falls outside of the pit, then it's b'chlal pater. So the Gemara says, Eisvei, I have a kasha, bibar bein lefanav bein lachar chayiv. Here's the problem. Rav holds that in the pit it's only chayiv if it's forward, not if it's backwards. Because Rav holds that the ikar chiyuv is because of foul air, not because of impact. So if it falls in backwards, it's the impact, and therefore it's pater. But the Brisa says, Bibar bein lefanav bein lachar chayiv. The Brisa clearly states that in the pit it doesn't matter whether it's forwards or backwards. So how does Rav reconcile this? So Amrav Chizda, Moide Rav Bibar B'Shusa Yidechayiv Nisham D'Armalei Marashach Ibahavola Mis Havala Didachu Ibachavata Mis Chavata Didachu. The answer is Rav's whole shita that you're not chayiv for the impact is only a bar b'shus harabim, because in Rishus harabim it's not my ground. So don't blame me for the impact. I did a grama by causing you to impact the ground. But if you have bar b'shusa, right? So that means I dig a pit in my backyard and I'm after the area around the backyard, and then someone falls in. Rav holds Mamarashach you're chayiv. Because Rav's whole thing that you're not chayiv for the impact is only true b'shus harabim. Because if it's b'shus harabim, it's not my floor. But if it's rishus hayachid, it's your ground. You own it. Of course you're responsible. So this brisa that says that it falls, no matter how it falls, you're chayiv, is talking about a bar b'shus hayachid. The Mishnah that said that you're pater from backwards is bar b'shus harabim. Okay. That's the first approach. Rabbi Omer, another approach. Okay. Rabbi says that, the case is, again, Rav's shita is that if you're only chayiv for the foul air. So if it falls backwards, you should be potter, because backwards is not affected by the foul air. It just smacks its back on the ground. The Brisa says you're chayiv if it's backwards. You know what the case is? It landed backwards, but in the air, it was originally frontward and flipped in midair. So the cow, like the goat, is falling. So it's head first, so it gets the foul air. Then it flips and falls on its back. The point is, you're still chayiv because although the impact is on the back, the foul air it already had on its way down.
How deep is this pit?
I don't know. Let's see these things. I don't understand any of them.
They're principles.
Huh? It's concepts. It's concepts. Then you got to apply. Where we're sharing this with the class? Where do we get the Dr. Browns from? It's not in the fridge. No, that my father has a secret stash. Is in the fridge? No. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. I have water. I don't need it. The Gemara continues.
You know what we should have?
The Gemara continues, dear God. Rav Yosef Amar, and last answer, seriously, they're drinking. The last answer is Hacha Beniski Bar Bishar Askinan. Rav Yosef has a completely different approach. Again, Rav Shita is that you're chayiv on a bar for the foul air, not for the impact, which means if you fall on backwards, you potter, because the backwards is no foul air, it just smacks. The problem is this Brisa says that you're chayiv by a bar, whether it's frontwards or forwards or backwards. The answer is, it's not what you think. The case of this brisa with the foul air, with the falling into the pit. Normally, when someone says that there's a chiyuv when you fall into the pit, it's the owner of the pit has to pay for the damage. That's not what we're talking about over here. The case over here is my ox fell into your pit and it should not have been there. It's a backyard. You weren't mafker. It broke in entering, and it ruined your well. I'm paying. The owner of the ox is paying. So the point is, the chiyuv of the ox is whether it fell in forwards or backwards, it's irrelevant, because the chiyuv of the ox, meaning, if it's a barbashus harabim and my ox falls in, you have to pay, the owner of the pit. That's not the case over here. The case is where my animal broke into your backyard, should not have been there, fell into your pit, full of water, ruined your well. I, the owner of the ox, have to pay you. And the point of the brisa is, I have to pay whether my ox fell in frontwards or backwards. Why would I think there'd be a difference? I don't know. Just the point is, so when this brisa says, "Bebar bein lefanav bein lachav chayiv," is not referring to the chayiv of the owner of the bar to the ox, but rather the owner of the ox to the bar. So the Gemara says, Rav Yosef Amar Hacha Beniski Bar B'Shar Askinan. Mind you, shehivish is meimav. The cases where the ox fell in, it should not have been in that backyard. It broke in entering, and it fell in, and it ruined the waters. And the point of the price is there's no difference of how it fell in. Why would there be a difference? I have no idea. The point is, although there is a difference when it comes to Rishus Harabim, there is no difference when it comes to Rishus Hayach. Tani Rav Chananya L'Siula Rav. Rav Chananya has a brayso in the backs of Rav. Again, Rav Shita is that you're only chayiv if it fell in frontwards, not backwards, because the brayso clearly states, Nafal ad sheyipol derech nafila mekana menafal afanav mikol achriya chayiv lachrav mikol achriya pater zev zev bebar. This brayso clearly states there's a difference between falling in frontwards or backwards. No, I'm good. Amar. Now here's the Gemara's. Okay, it's not difficult. You just have to a little cheshbon, a little math. Amar nafal lefanav mikol hakriya chayiv. Okay, let's go with this case. I own a pit, yeah? And inside the pit, my father goes down and he thinks it's funny to start digging. And he doesn't do enough digging that he really contributes to the pit at all. The pit was already 10 tfachim. He maybe adds 1 or 2 tfachim, not much. He doesn't add any thickness to the pit itself. And he has like a jackhammer. And he's making a lot of noise. The animal falls in. Who's chayiv? The balabar. Why? Shouldn't you pay? Or at least we should pay? I own a pit. It's 15 tefachim deep. You go in and you start digging 1 tefach. That 1 tefach doesn't do anything. It's not like you dug 10, you didn't make it 10, irrelevant. But because you did this, you startled the animal fell in. Mikol hakriya. Who's chayiv? Me, the owner of the pit. Why? Shouldn't we at least be partners? You caused the animal fall in. The animal wouldn't have fallen. It was your noise. So what? But it's sort of like a hezek being done by multiple people. My pit, but your noise caused it to fall into my pit. So True, but at least we should at least be partners. So the Gemara says like this, V'amai, Neima koire garamle. Why? I'm not saying that the owner of the pit should be absolved legamri, but I'm saying that why don't we say that the one who did the digging contributed to the animal falling in, and it should be that your partners, the garamle. So Amrav Simi Barashi, Hamani Rav Nosson. This takes us to a new topic that will take us through most of the daf, and that is Rav Nosson Shita. Rav Nosson Shita is as follows. It's two factors. Here's the case of Rav Nosson we'll deal with today. My ox gores your ox, really hits it really, really hard, into my father's pit. Who's chayiv? So my ox did all the damage, but it died in my father's pit. Rav Nosson holds two things. One, we're partners. Okay? And it's not that I'm exclusively chayiv, we're partners. Secondly, Rav Nosson holds, when partners, I should pay half, you should pay half. Let's say he's potter. Either he has no money or he has certain heterim that exclude him from the chiyuv. You could collect from me entirely. So it's two factors of Rav Nosson. One, we're both partners. Two, if you can't collect from one, you could collect from the other. So two, going back over here. I have a pit.
The owner of the pit
And the owner of the shar that attacked.
Okay.
Point is, going back to our discussion over here. I have a pit. My father's digging in the pit, making a lot of noise. Rav Nosson would say, we're talking partners. Does my father have to pay? No. Why? Because he didn't do anything be a dime. It's technically due to grama, he's potter. When you have two partners that you can't collect from one, you collect entirely from the other. That's why I have to pay. We are taka partners. Exactly. On paper, we're partners and he's chayiv, but because you don't have to make him pay in court, because it's a grama, therefore I have to pay entirely. That's the point. So the Gemara says, Rav Nosson, Domer Balabar Hezek Ka'avid, that Rav Nosson that holds that if you have a hezek that's done between two people, even though, by the way, this is the point of Rav Nosson, you could contribute it that it's 75% guilt by one, 25% guilt, they're both partners. Like over here, if you have to attribute how much guilt is there, my father is the one who made the noise with the startling the animal. It's probably 75% his fault the animal falls in. But I'm 25%. We're both partners. That's fact number one. And two, if one partner doesn't pay, you collect entirely from the other one. That's the point. The Tanya, and therefore in our discussion, because the one who's making the noise is technically potter due to technicality, because it's grama, you collect entirely from the Baal Habar. The Tanya, what's this machlokes? Shar shedachav es chaver lebar. One ox bangs another ox into a bar. So really, if you have to put guilt, it's like 95% guilt on the shar. Because even without the bar, my shar was going to attack. The bar definitely contributed to the injury, but not his fault. Like, if you had to contribute, it's way more fault to the Baal Hashar. So who's chayiv? Baal Hashar chayiv, Baal Habar potter. The Rabbanan sheet is very simple. The Baal Hashar is chayiv entirely. Baal Habar is completely potter. He did nothing wrong. Rav Nosson says, no, Baal Hashar mishali mechza, Baal Habar mishali mechza. They pay 50-50. That's the shita of Rav Nosson. Okay. Don't know. I don't know if it matters, though. I don't know. So that's the shita of Rav Nosson. So it's 50-50. Now here's where we're going to start doing a little... The shar and 50% Baal Habar. Now we're going to do a little bit of math. V'hatanya, but wait a minute. There's a brayse that says Rav Nosson oimer Baal Habar mishalim shalish chalokim uBaal Hashar Ravia. You're saying it's 50-50, but there's a brayse that says that the owner of the shar pays 75% and the owner of the bar pays 25%. So what's going on? Is it 50-50 or is it 75-25? Loi kasha habatam habimud. Meaning, let's go with the names over here. My ox gores your ox into my father's pit. So it's 50-50. I pay 50, he pays 50. The brayse is 75-25. The case of 75-25 is a tam. So because my father, my ox did 50% of the damage, I pay chatzi nezek. I'm paying 25%. I'm responsible for 50%, so I pay chatzi nezek of that, which is 25%. He takes the rest, 75%. Now here's the kasha. Wait a minute. Here's the deal.
Why is it divided that way?
What do you mean? What should it be?
It's 50-50.
It's a tam. I'm paying chatzi nezek by a tam. You pay, the bar doesn't have a tam musig, so you pay 50% because that's your nezek shalom. I'm a bala shar. It's a tam. I pay 50%, which is 25%. Here's the problem though. Then why are you paying 75%? You should pay 50% because that's your responsibility. We're 50-50 partners, you pay 50%. I only have to pay 25% because it's chatzi nezek. You should just get 75%. Instead of it being 100%, 75 and 25, it should be 50 and 25.
No, because
Why?
Because there was damages.
So what?
100%.
So what? You got 50% of the responsibility. I got 50% of the responsibility. But my 50%, because I'm a Tom, I only pay half of that. So you got 50, I got 25. Why do you have to pick the bill? Why do you have to pick a bill for me?
You always see that the rest falls on the other partner.
But in this case, it depends on how you look at it. Here's the truth. If you look at it, there's really two ways to look at it, but either way is not going to make a lot of sense. Either you look at it as I'm 100% guilty, you're 100% guilty. But in which case, then why am I paying 25%? I should pay 50% as a Tom. What's the answer? It's not 100%, 100%. It's 50%, 50%. So it's 50%, 50%. He should get 50%, I should get 25%. Why is he paying 75%? So the Gemara says, "Ubetam ma'ikasavar." I don't understand. How are you analyzing this responsibility of these two partners? Ikasavar haikula hezeka avid, haikula hezeka avid. You could look at it one way: is I'm 100% guilty, the balashar, and the balabar is 100% guilty. We just both pay. We split it. But if that's the case, if I'm 100% guilty, then my chatzi nezek is 50%. It should be 50 and 50. Hi mishalim paga, hi mishalim paga. And imasavar, hi palga hezek avid, hi parga hezek avid. And if you don't look at it as that I'm 100% guilty, my father's 100% guilty. I'm 50% guilty, he's 50% guilty, so then he should take 50%. I should half of my 50%, which is 25%. And then it should be balabar mishalim palga, balashar revia, vidach revia mafsid. You should only get 75% of the money owed to you. Why is the balabar picking up 75% of the guilt? That's the kasha. So there's two approaches, yeah? There's two approaches to understand this. Number one, it's like this. Amar Rava, Rav Nasan Dainahu, Rav Nasan is a dayan. V'nachas Kadidin, he's looking at this in a deep way from a dayanis. Lo'elim kasavar haikula zekav and haikula zekav. Really, this is how he looks at it. Again, my shar bangs your shar into my father's bar. There's two ways to look at it. I'm 50% guilty, you're 50% guilty, or no. I'm 100% guilty, you're 100% guilty. We're just splitting the bill. That's how you look at it. I'm 100% guilty, you're 100% guilty. Wait a minute. And that's why you're getting 100% of the money back. But wait a minute. If I'm 100% guilty and my father's 100% guilty, I'm a tam, I should pay chatzi nezek, I should pay 50%. Why am I paying 25% and he's paying 75%? You know what the answer is? There's no purpose of a partnership other than to lessen my payment. The whole Indian, right? If I think about it, if my animal attacked your animal without the pit involved, and I'm 100% guilty, how much am I paying? 50%. It's $1,000 nezek. I'm paying $500. Now my animal attacked your animal into my father's pit. I come to the rabbi and he says, "Don't worry. You and your father are partners." I said, "Okay, that's great. It's always good to have partners in payment. How much am I paying?" "You're paying 50%." Dude, I pay 50% without him. The partnership has to do something for me. Without me, how much is he paying? 100%, because it's a bar. Without him, how much am I paying? 50%. But you're telling me that when we get together, I'm paying 50%, he pays 50%? No way. That's not fair. It must be that in order, the union of shutzvis is to lessen the load on each other. Therefore, I'm paying 25%. He's paying 75%. He benefits from the partnership that he's not paying 100%. I benefit from the partnership that I'm not paying 50%. If not for that, then it can't be that I'm paying the same amount with or without a partner. It just doesn't make sense. That's the point. That's the first answer.
We both have savings of 25%.
Exactly. There has to be some savings in being a partner. Even though you could argue if I'm responsible 100%, he's responsible 100%, chatzi nezek, that is 50%, but then I'd be the same responsibility whether I have a partner or not. It's illogical.
You're saving the same amount.
We have to save something.
Yeah, that's equal to 25%.
Correct. But I don't even know if, exactly. It has to be that we save by being partners. That's the first answer. Why? If I'm paying the same amount, then what's the purpose of having a partner? Second answer. Really, I'll say it outside, we'll say it inside. Or you can look at it this way. I'm 50% responsible, my father's 50% responsible. Now, if we look at it that way, I'm only 50% responsible. Chatzi nezek of that is 25%. Perfect. My father's 50% responsible, he should pay 50%. It should be 50 and 25. Why is he paying 75? You want to know why? Where did they find the dead body?
It's the carcass.
The carcass where? No, but where'd they find it?
Pit.
In his pit. You're 100%. If you find the dead animal in your pit, you're responsible. You want to say, but it was Avi's animal that gored it and pushed it there. You want to save some money? You bring in a partner. What you cannot prove, you're going to pay. Meaning, you're looking at it as sort of like a blank slate. And I'm 50% responsible, and he's 50% responsible. He pays 50%, I pay 25%. Beautiful. But that's not how the world works. My ox was found dead in your property. You're 100% responsible. You're like, no. Avi's animal gored it. It's a shutzvis. So I tell you, here's the deal. You write me a check for 100% because I found the animal in your backyard, in your pit. You want to get money reimbursed from Avi? Go ahead. Whatever you can get from him, good. But you're not making it that I don't get less money because of this. Meaning, this concept of like a shikhatar of who's responsible, because the animal is found in your pit, you have 100% responsibility. You can get reimbursed from your partner. But because you could only get 25% from me, he's going to have to pay 75%. That's how we look at it. Well, I don't know if I'm actually literally handing the money to him, but the point is the chiyuv is 100% on him, even though he did 50%, because the animal was found in his property. It's sort of like, it's like a chazaka that he's at fault. It's like he's 100% at fault and then the partner comes in and reimburses him. But I'm only paying 25%.
Why would that partner have to give anything at this point?
Because he's able to prove that my animal did that. Okay. I know, it's very interesting. It's sort of like we work backwards. Right. We'll see it inside. The Gemara says, really, I did 50%, my father did 50%. You're going to ask, then if you're going to ask, well, if it's 50-50 partnership, 50-50 at fault, then my father should pay 50, I should pay 25, and then the damaged party should lose out. The answer is, the reason why that doesn't work is because the damaged property can say to the owner of the pit, I found my dead ox in your pit. You killed it. You're at fault because that's where we found the dead body. Like you got the smoking gun. Therefore, I'm going to take all the money from you. And whatever I can't recover from that other one, I'll recover from meaning like this. I'm going to go to the Baal Hashar first, and I'm going to say, pay me. And he's going to say, well, I'm paying Chatzi Nezek, 25%. Great. And now I'm going to you have the dead body, you're covering the rest. Basically, it's saying that although you're 50% responsible, because the dead body is found in your property, it's sort of like the onus is on you.
Because I could claim 100% from you.
It's something like that. It sounds like it's a little migo. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It's a very interesting shita. Okay. We said before that if the machlekes of Nasan and Rabbanan is the case where one ox gores another ox into a pit. Let's say instead of my ox goring your ox into a pit, instead this is what I do. You have a pit, I put a rock in front of the pit, causing an ox to stumble in. So it's the same thing. The same way if my ox would gore your ox into the pit, I'm responsible, and you're responsible, we split it. So too over here, if I put a rock in front of the pit, and it trips into the pit, we share responsibility. It's the same thing. Well, it's
what is a stone?
Yeah, it's a bar. Okay, so 2 bars. Yeah. The Gemara says, it's the same machlekes. Meaning, do we look at it as the Baal, the one who's responsible is the one who put out the obstacle, or is the one who is responsible, split? So we said it's the same machlekes. The Gemara says pshita. Okay, yeah. So it's the chiddush. Ma'u desemi. You might think awesome. Hu da'amar bal habar lebal hashari lavi bar didach. Tar didach have a katalei. Maybe over there you could say they share responsibility because the owner of the pit can tell the owner of the damaging ox, if not for my pit, your ox would have killed it. Meaning your ox is going to kill the other one. My pit sort of shared it. Avol hacha, but over here, matzi amarle bal eben the balabar. But over here, maybe the one who put the rock is completely absolved. Why? Because he could say to the other one, if your pit wasn't there, the animal would have just like tripped on nothing. Like I put the rock there and the animal stumbles. I could say to the owner of the pit, if your pit wasn't there, no damage happens. The reason why that's not a good argument is because then the owner of the pit could say, if not for your rock, who said it would fall in? Basically, it's, the Gemara says, you have a mitzvah, but have enough of a koi. You have Evan, have enough of a beer, because then the person could respond that if not for your stone, who said it would fall into the pit? Okay, Itmar, go to the next page. Itmar, Shar v'shar psule hamikdashim shenagchu. Okay, this is a very misleading line. Rashi has explained. You have it, instead of, before we had the machlekes of Nasan and the Rabbanon, it was ox into a pit. This is very simple. This is much more simple. Me and my father both own oxen, and they gore at your ox. So it's two ox that gore at the same time. Now, which oxen are they? One's an ox, a regular ox. Mine is a regular ox, and my father's is a hegdish ox. Hegdish ox is potter. Now, what's the case of a hegdish ox? So it says psule mikdashim, but psule mikdashim usually means the animal that was a carbon that was redeemed. That is not what we're referring to, because if the animal was a carbon that was redeemed, it is responsible. The halacha is that if you redeem an animal, it's potter if for a bar, but for a shar, it's chayiv. It's a regular ox for a shar. So that's not the case of here. Rashi says it specifically, ma'niu shar bechar d'lei parakle. It's a bechar, because even after a bechar becomes blemished, it's still holy. Basically, bekitzer, you have, me and my father both have oxen. Okay, mine's a regular ox, his is an ox of hegdish. So it's either it's still a healthy carbon, or it's a blemished carbon that wasn't redeemed, or a bechar. Bekitzer, it's a hegdish. He doesn't have to pay because it's hegdish. So we both gore your ox. It's mamish same machlekes. According to Rav Nasan, we're both partners, and you can't get money from him, so you get it from me. According to the Rabbanon, we're both partners, but I only have to pay for my half. I'm not paying for his half.
Right, but we're partners.
True, but according to Rav Nasan's chiddush is that if you can't get money from one, you get money from the other, meaning the other one will cover the bill. According to Rabbanon, no. I'll pay for my half, and that is all.
So according to Rabbanon, you would pay 100%.
According to Rav Nasan.
50 or 20. It's a tom.
So if it's a tom, let's just speak this out. If it's a tom, according to the Rabbanon, I'm paying 25. According to Rav Nasan, I'm paying 50. If it's a muad, I'm paying 100. And according to the Rabbanon, I'm paying 50. Yeah. So the Gemara says, Abai Amar Mishalim Chatzi Nezek, Ravina Amar Mishalim Ravia Nezek. Abai says you pay 50%, Ravina says you pay 25%. Oh, and the Gemara says Mamish exactly what Gavin said. Hava tam. The case is a tam. Harabanan Hakar Rav Nasan. If you follow the Rabbanon, then I have to pay 25%. If you follow Rav Nasan, then I pay 50%. Because again, we're partners. I did half of the damage. Half of the damage is technically, it's 50%, but it's a tam, so I'm responsible for 25%. The Rabbanon say I only have to pay 25%. But if you look at it according to Rav Nasan, me and my father both did the damage, which means between the two of us it's 100% damage. By a tam, that means you pay 50%. He doesn't have to pay at all, so you collect it from me. So it's 50%. 50% of 25%. Or Iba Yisema, Hava HaRabbanan, Haba Tam, Haba Mud. Or it could be the entire Brisa follows the Rabbanan. It could be Tam and Mud. Meaning, if it's a Tam, I pay 25%. If it's a Mud, I pay 50%. Ikeda Amri, Abaya Amar Chatzi Nezek, Ravina Amar Kuli Nezek. Or have a different version. Some say that Abaya said Chatzi Nezek, Ravina said Nezek Shalom. So how would that be? So, Hava Haba Muad, Hakarabban Harav Nasan. It's talking about a Muad. According to Rav Nasan, if it's a Muad, I pay Nezek Shalom. Because he doesn't have to pay at all, so I cover the bill, which is Nezek Shalom. According to the Rabbanon, he doesn't pay half, I pay half, which is Chatzi Nezek, and it's a Muad.
Yours is a muad, his is a tom.
No, we're talking about they're both a Muad. They're both a Muad. Haba Muad. I mean, the animals are a Muad. So we're both, or my animal's a Muad, probably all that matters.
Yours is a muad, and his is a tom. And it's Rav Nasan. You take his responsibility.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
But yours is muad, it's 100%.
That's a great question. I don't know. So let's go with they're both a Muad. Yeah, they're both a Muad. So the Gemara says, "V'yibai sema hava hakarav nasan hava Muad hava tam." Okay. All right, that was pretty. I mean, if you understand it, it goes well. If you don't understand, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. Good. Amarava. Here's the deal. let's say you have Shar va'adam shedachvu lebar. Okay. Me, Gavin, and my father. Here's the deal. We'll pick Menashe. Hey, Menashe. We'll pick Menashe's cow. I'm a person. Gavin's a cow. My father's a pit. Me and my father, how we doing? Me and Gavin both push Menashe's ox into my father's pit. So I'm Adam, Shar, Bar. So three of us have gotten together to damage that ox. Me, I push it, you push it, pit. So now you have three partners. So you'll say, we all split it. Here's the problem. What about chiyuvim that only apply to people? There are some chiyuvim that only apply to people. There's some chiyuvim that only apply to ox. There's some chiyuvim that only apply to bar. So here's the rule. The basic rule is pretty simple, and that is, you pay for the thing that you're responsible for. Okay, so let's see it inside. Shar v'adam shedachel lebar. So you have three nezikin. You got a shar, an adam, and a bar, all getting together to hurt this cow. Le'inyan nezikin, when it comes to paying damages, people, bar, and shar all pay damages. Therefore, kulim chiyavim, we're all partners. Le'inyan arba dvarim v'demei v'ladois. Let's say we hurt a person instead of Menashe's cow. We hurt a person. So when you hurt a person, what do? So what's the halacha? So when an animal hurts a person, you pay nezek. When a bar hurts a person, you pay nezek. But when a person hurts a person, you pay for the four things. So we hurt a person. So you're a shar, you're a bar. You pay nezek, you pay nezek. I pay nezek and the four things because I'm an adam. So I pick up my responsibility. You guys don't have to pay for my responsibility. Okay? Adam chayiv v'shar ubar potter. I'm chayiv and you're both potter. Okay, let's keep going. Linin kaifer u'shleishim shaleven. Let's say in this act we killed a slave. So what's the halacha? Who pays kaifer? A shar pays kaifer. Does a person pay kaifer? No. Does a bar pay kaifer? No. So the shar will chayiv. Adam ubar paturim. Keep going. Linin kalim v'shar psulei hamikdashim. Let's go with this. Let's go kalim first. Kalim. A person is chayiv for kalim? Yes. A shar is chayiv for kalim? Yes. A bar is potter from kalim. So a bar does not have to pay for any keli that gets damaged in this process. And what about psulei mikdashim, which means a carbon that was redeemed? It was a carbon and then it blemished and redeemed. If a person damages that ox, again, very simple. Gavin, you had a shlamim that was balmum, so you redeemed it. It's now part of your flock. If I, as a person, hurt it, do I have to pay you? Yes. If a shar hurts it, do they have to pay you? Yes. If it falls in a bar, does the Baal Habar have to pay? No. So therefore, in this case, Baal Habar, Adam v'shar chayavin v'bar potter. Okay. My time. And now, what we're going to do from the end of the daf, we'll be done in 3 minutes. You see from here that if the animal as a psuli mukdashin, which means it was holy at some point and then it was redeemed, the halacha is that if it fell into a bar, the Baal Bar is potter. We had this a couple days ago. I'm not a zichur guy, I don't remember. We had this a couple days ago, like recently, maybe even Shabbos. We had it. That how do I know that a psuli mukdashim is potter by a bar? Because the pasuk says by a bar v'hamesi elo. Right. If my animal falls into a bar, v'hamesi elo, I get the carcass back. So it only applies to someone who could keep the carcass. But because of psuli mikdashim, the halacha is that you have to treat the carcass with certain holiness. It's not b'chlal the parsha. Okay. So that's the source here. We said before that if a psuli mikdashim falls into a bar, the Baal Bar is potter. My time, what's the source? Amar Krav Amesi Elo, because the pasuk says that an animal dies in the pit, the pit's owner has to pay, and the carcass belongs to the Baal Hashar. It only applies to someone, an animal that you could just do whatever you want with. It says the carcass is yours. Do with it what that which you feel fit. That means it only applies to an animal that you could do whatever you want. Which excludes psulim mikdashim because it has certain halachas to the holiness of the psulim mikdashim. Remember the pshite le Rava. This is what Rava is so confident that psulim mikdashim is potter by a bar. Didn't Rava ask this? Now he's saying it definitively. Didn't Rava say sharp psul mikdashim shanav bar mahu? Is there a chiyav bar by psul mikdashim? What's the shaila based on? Hi v'meisi eloi. What does v'meisi eloi teach you? B'mi v'meisi eloi yatzis hasheni v'meisi eloi. Is v'meisi eloi excluding a psuli mikdashim? Asked Rava, or perhaps v'meisi eloi is not excluding psul mikdashim. It's telling you who owns the carcass. Who owns the carcass? It's, by the way, huge nafkaminas. Why? Your ox falls into my pit. It was worth $1,000, and then it dies. The carcass is worth $500. How much do I pay? If you own the carcass still, I just pay $500. If the carcass is mine, that means I have to pay you $1,000, and it's my responsibility to get the carcass out of the pit. V'amesi Eloi tells you it's still yours. So how do you taisha v'amesi Eloi? Is it telling you that you own the carcass, or is it telling me that bar is patur by psulim mikdashim? Rava asked that question. Now Rava is so confident. The answer is yes. That's generally how it works. You ask a question, and then you become more confident when you get the answer. Okay. So how does Rava know if Ramesi Eloi teaches you that potter by psul mikdashim by a bar? How do you know that the damaged party retains ownership of the carcass? Nafkalei v'amesi Eloi deshar. It says v'amesi Eloi twice. It says it by shar and it says it by bar. So he learns it out by the shar part. So here's the kasha. Very, very simple. We'll end with this. Okay, the Hamesi Eloi is said in two different places. Yeah, it says by shar and it says by bar. There's two ways how you could translate it. You could translate it as it's telling you that you retain the carcass, so chayiv by psulei mikdashim, or it's telling you potter by psul mikdashim. So what did we say? By a bar, it's telling you potter by psulei mikdashim. By a shar, it's telling you keep the carcass b'chayiv psulei mikdashim. Maybe reverse it. Meaning you have an option that you have two drushes. It says the word v'amesi Eloi twice. One is to tell you potter by psulei mikdashim, and one is to tell you chayiv psulei mikdashim, but you keep the carcass. So you're saying by shar chayiv psulei mikdashim, but by bar potter. Maybe reverse it. Maybe it should be chayiv by a bar and potter by a shar. It's just drawing lines. So the Gemara says, "My chazes da amesi Eloi deshar mafkele lebayil metapen nevela v'amesi Eloi debar mafkele mishamesh Eloi epachana." Maybe reverse it. So how do you know that psulei mikdashim is potter by a bar and chayiv by a shar? Maybe it should be potter by a shar and chayiv by a bar. The answer is mistabra potter gabi bar. It makes more sense that it will be potter by a bar. Why? Hoylu potter by a sakelim. Because a bar is potter by kelim, therefore it makes more sense that it will be potter by psulei mikdashim as well. Adarabba. Potter gabi shar shekain potter by chatzi nezek. On the contrary, maybe it should be potter by a shar because a shar only pays chatzi nezek. So you see that the Torah wants to be potter by a shar. The answer is kula nezek mila eshkechen. It's potter by chatzi nezek, but it's not potter nezek shalom. By kalim, it's potter legamri. Therefore, you see the Torah is more lenient by a bar, and therefore by a bar, not only will it be potter by kalim, it'll be potter by psulim mikdashim as well. We'll stop here. We'll pick it up tomorrow with the next subject.
Just we know we're potter from kalim.
That we're going to see in tomorrow's daf. It's